Lord, help us to seek justice, to love mercy, to walk humbly with you, O Lord our God, all our days. Amen. Y'all, this morning I come to you just a mess, a messy ball of emotions, as I'm sure many of y'all are right now. This messy ball up tangle of emotions where I am feeling so overjoyed and relieved because I know my home was spared from Hurricane Laura. I know many of my friends and loved ones who were so frightened and so in fear of their loved ones being harmed, or maybe even losing their home or their business. And for many of us, it was compounded by the just the memories of so recent Hurricane Harvey and Imelda, just in 2017 and 2019, just last fall. And so we feel relieved, we feel overjoyed. But even right in the midst of that, there's also this feeling of despair, being forlorn for those who were hurt, for knowing that there were people who were devastated by this storm, just our neighbors, some people even in our community. My heart's breaking for them. And so it is a mess of emotions, feeling somehow relieved and overjoyed, and yet sad and somewhat despondent for them as well, and how to make sense of this messy tangle of emotions. I think of Jesus' disciples, those first disciples, and what a messy tangle of emotions it must have been for them too. When here they are, they found their rabbi that they love, and they're overjoyed. And how much more overjoyed they must have been when they found out not only is he a pretty good rabbi, but he's the Son of God. He's their Messiah. He's the one that they've been waiting for. They must have been over the moon that this is the one that had come to save them. And how hard it must have been to then have Jesus say to them that he had to go and sacrifice himself, and he was going to die for them because of their sin, and that he was going to save them from their sin by the cost of his life. And how angry and sad and confused they must have been by that, all at the same time. We're going to be saved, but it's going to cost our Messiah his life. And what's more, Jesus rebuked them when they tried to stop. Peter tried to stop him. This is the famous, "Get behind me, Satan, you are a stumbling block to me." Because what Jesus needed them to understand was the time of trial that he's going to face was what was necessary for him to be able to care for the people around him better. That the cross that he was bearing was going to make him better able to have mercy and bring about justice, walk humbly with God, to be compassionate toward those around him. What's more, he was going to look to his disciples. He tells them to be formed as Christians, to be formed as his disciples. They were going to need to face times of trial. It wasn't going to all be being overjoyed and about being saved, although that's there. But there were going to be hardships. There were going to be trials. And that those trials were going to forge them as his disciples. They were going to help them be more compassionate. They were going to help them to be seekers of justice and lovers of mercy as they walk humbly with God. So that again makes me think back to us in our messy tangle of emotions, where we can feel blessed and yet see hardship and have a cross to bear at the same time. So let us give thanks. Let us give thanks for the ways that we were blessed. But let us also remember that the times of trial we face, the times of trial like Hurricane Harvey and Imelda, those times of trial forge us as disciples. They help us, too, to be more compassionate. When I look at our neighbors who were affected more severely by Hurricane Laura, we are going to be better able to be seekers of justice for them, to be lovers of mercy for them, to be compassionate toward them because of our own trials that we faced. So let us give thanks that in the midst of this messy ball of emotions and the highs and the lows, that all of this is a part of what makes us better Christians for ourselves and for our neighbors around us. It helps us better be able to accomplish those very things that Paul told the early church in Rome. If you all get a sec, rewind, go back in the video and listen to that letter from Paul to the Romans again and what he tells them about being the church. We'll be better able to do those things together because of what we've gone through together. And so I give thanks that even though right now many of us are scattered around and here I am leading worship from Studio B because the church has no power, and some of us are in Tyler, and some of us are in Waco, and some of us are in Austin, or New Braunfels, or Dallas, or College Station. But yet here we are. And when we do gather together again in our church at St. Stephen's, we'll be better disciples because of it. So I give thanks for that. I give thanks for that, and I give thanks for y'all. Thanks be to God. Amen.